is Election Day in America. A year after voters sent Donald Trump back to the White House, Americans are once again heading to the polls. And with Trump's popularity at the lowest since he's been reelected, a number of key races will reveal a lot tonight about the mood of the electorate. One of the most closely watched contests, the race to run the nation's largest city. As of this afternoon, already more than 1 million people have voted, and President Trump is trying his best to get Andrew Cuomo across the finish line. He posted this online today. Any Jewish person that votes for Zohran Mamdani, a proven and self-professed Jew hater, is a stupid person. Trump also threatening to pull federal funding for the city if Mamdani wins. This morning, Mamdani responded this way.
What we see in the language of Donald Trump is a premise as if it is his decision on whether or not to fund a city the very money that this city is owed. And I look forward to utilizing every single tool at my disposal as the next mayor of this city to fight for the people of it. But I will not be intimidated by this president. I will not be intimidated by anyone, because my job here is to serve the people of this city.
Also today, just to the west of New York City, New Jersey will pick its next governor. The two leading candidates locked in a close race. If Democrat Mikey Sherrill wins, it'll be the first time since the 1960s that the state has elected a governor from the same party 3 times in a row. And closer to home here in Virginia, the race for governor being watched closely as Democrats try to find their footing and hone in on what their message is going to be ahead of next year's midterm elections. We have so much to get to over the next hour. Let's get off the sidelines and head into the arena. My panel's here, and we have reporters live in New York, Virginia, and New Jersey. And let's get started at Mamdani's HQ, where we find Gloria Pazmino. Gloria, what's the latest there?
Well, Casey, we are inside of Brooklyn Paramount's theater. We are in downtown Brooklyn, and I have to say it is significant that Mamdani's camp has chosen Brooklyn as their headquarters tonight. And the reason for that is because that is the largest and most populous borough in New York City, and it also has had the largest share of the voter turnout so far. Now, I've been speaking with Mamdani's aides throughout the day, and they are closely watching the returns, specifically in Brooklyn, even though this is not Mamdani territory, so to speak. He lives in Queens and has represented a Queens State Assembly district for the past few years. But they're focused in Brooklyn, and the reason for that is because this is where much of Zohran Mamdani's base is, and they are hoping that turnout is significant in specific areas of Brooklyn, including areas like Fort Greene, where he made a stop earlier today, alongside with the State Attorney General, Letitia James. What's referred to as Brownstone, Brooklyn, here in New York City is very much Mamdani country, and they're hoping that if the numbers look good in those precincts, it means that he is increasing his share of the voter turnout. Now, as you said in the beginning, already this election has shattered records. More than 1 million New Yorkers have already cast their vote. That's already beat the record for the last mayoral election, and it's beat the record for the last presidential election, which typically has more voter turnout. Now, we're in the lobby of the Brooklyn Paramount Theater. This theater has capacity for 3,000 people. Mamdani's aides tell me they expect to fill it tonight. We are hoping to get inside soon. For now, they are preparing this venue for what is expected to be a busy and nerve-wracking evening. But as we heard it from Mamdani himself earlier today, he is feeling confident, although not complacent, going into tonight. The campaign just announced they have knocked on 3 million doors. So much about any campaign, no matter where you're running it, is about the ground game. And no matter how you feel about the candidates, Mamdani definitely has had the strongest ground game of these 3 candidates, and we'll see if it shows this evening. Casey.
All right, Gloria Pazmino for us. Thanks very much for that. Now let's head to Virginia, where Brad Todd joins us live in the arena from Aldie, Virginia. This was a town that voted for Republican Glenn Youngkin in the last governor's race. Before that, it went for the Democrat, Ralph Northam. Brian, Trump didn't endorse the Republican in this race, and of course, Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat, is the heavy favorite. What are you hearing?
Right, Casey. That dynamic is interesting here because not only did Winsome Earl Sears, the Republican, not get President Trump's endorsement, but the Republican candidate for Lieutenant Governor, John Reed, did not get full-throated support from Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin, who actually asked Reed to get out of the race early in this race. We are hitting the rush hour surge of voters here. A bunch of them just came in, and this place has already been packed with activity all day long. Almost 1,000 voters coming through this precinct, which is one of the busiest precincts in Northern Virginia. Our photojournalist, Manny, is going to go in ahead of me. Now, there are a lot of reasons here why we love covering elections here in Virginia. One is to show the process, which I'm going to show you in a second. One other one is history being made here in Virginia. Manny, come on over here. I'm going to show you the ballot here. History is going to be made here in Virginia no matter who wins. Because, Casey, you were just referring to it. Abigail Spanberger is on the ticket. No matter who wins, Abigail Spanberger or Winsome Earl Sears, Virginia gets its first female governor as of tonight. Also, Ghazala Hashmi, the Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor, if she wins, she becomes the first Muslim to hold statewide office in the state of Virginia. So history being made is a big reason that we're jazzed about being here today. Another reason, as we walk over here among this line of voters and between the voters here, sorry guys, thanks very much, another reason we love covering these races is to show you the process, because here in Virginia they have changed the rules. In years past, they did not let us into the voting rooms. We had to stay outside and could maybe peer in from a long distance. Now we get access, and we can show you voters checking in here. They're standing in line. They get their paper ballots over there. They go old school here in Virginia with paper ballots. Then they go to these voting stations here. There are 9 of them set up, and the voters themselves have full ownership of their paper ballots. They are the only ones that can handle them. They're the only ones that can put them into the counter right there. Another reason we love covering these races is because we get to speak to voters in real time about what is really driving them. Mariam Jarati is a voter we spoke to just a moment ago. Immigration was first and foremost on her mind. Take a listen.
I always vote since I became a citizen, and that was 20 years ago. And I migrated from Kenya originally. My family is back home in Kenya, and how I see how things are going on, like with families being separated, as a human being, as a mother, separating families, especially children, from their mothers or fathers. I don't believe in that. So that made me come out and also come and vote.
So that's one big issue. Another one is the government shutdown. Tens of thousands of government workers live here in Loudoun County. A lot of them told us that is really driving them to come out to vote today. Their anger over that. You know, this county, Casey, has just been growing by leaps and bounds. Judy Brown is the head of the County Board of Elections here in Loudoun County. When she first started in that job 40 years ago, there were 30 voting precincts. There are now 107 voting precincts here in Loudoun County. It has exploded in relevance and importance. That's why the candidates are here, and that's why they've been, really emphasizing coming here during the campaign. Casey?
Yeah, and Brian, for any of us who actually live in this area, driving the highway that takes you to Loudoun County will tell you exactly what you just outlined, which is that it has exploded in population. Brian Todd, thank you very much for that reporting.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.